Uh-oh.
Get excited, everybody. Get excited. Get excited, baby. I'm telling you. Raider Nation, NFL Nation, Who Dat Nation, Wildcat, Tiger Cats. Let's go.
All the cats, all the animals. All the
animals.
Get them off Noah's Ark. Send them in. There's a show to watch tonight. Make sure you're watching.
Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau.
We're back.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavelich, and across the way in the Grove, the one and only Mr. Jesse Martineau.
Thank you very much, Mark. We have tremendous news. Great news to start the show. If you can see on the screen as you're watching the top, right above there, it says gather round. We, the Me and Jesse podcast, have our first official sponsor, Boston Pizza. We want you to check out, it's kind of a big deal. We want you to check out the Hampton Market and the Windermere locations. Those are in Edmonton. We super excited to have that happen, and we're very thankful. And hey, we always talk about if you didn't know the history of Boston Pizza, it was actually starting at Edmonton. And another thing is, it's that local guys own these things. But we'll talk more about that after the show. We have our first NFL star coming in right now. I'm going to let him in. Here's Erik Harris, everybody.
There he is.
There's the guy.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the show, Erik.
What's up?
Well, we're excited to have you. You're our first NFL guest, which we're super excited about. We had, being in Canada here, we have lots of hockey guys and that kind of stuff.
Lots of NHL guys.
Yeah. But Mark and I are huge NFL fans. Mark's actually a huge Raiders fan. We'll get into that in a little bit. But welcome to the show. Really excited to have you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm kind of jealous you guys the background. You didn't tell me I should have had a good setup.
We should have sent you one. We should have.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, if the hosts look like bad, then it's not going to be a good time. So we have to at least look the part on this end.
That's right.
Erik,
so what have you been doing, Erik, since the season's come to end? Like, what have you been doing? Have you just been relaxing, chilling, and taking it easy?
I wish. My wife has me working. We're on this farm right now. We own a horse, and then my mother-in-law has a horse as well. So we have family friends that we board with in Alabama that are moving closer to where we're located. So we've been getting this barn together because the horses are moving soon. So I've been working.
Now, is that something that you grew up with around horses?
Negative.
How do you find yourself in that?
Yeah, I'm in deep waters right now, so I'm learning.
Oh man. So okay, now Canadians are like, "Hey, Erik Harris, I know that name." It's because actually you played in the CFL for a few years in Hamilton. Tell us about Hamilton. We're in Edmonton, so I know you've been to Edmonton a few times. Tell us about Hamilton.
Hamilton, I loved Hamilton. The only major sport there is football.
Yeah.
Really. They might have. I think they have a soccer team now, maybe, but football that's what it is, and it reminds me of Pittsburgh. Really. Like years ago. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Pittsburgh.
Steel Town, I guess.
Town.
Yeah.
Steel Town, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of reminds me of Pittsburgh, but the fans I love the fans. We have great family friends that we still keep in contact today. A lot of great friends, a lot of great memories.
So you played 45 games-ish with Hamilton?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Now,
3 years? Yeah,
3 years.
Right.
Okay, now, I mean, I've been very vocal about my feelings toward the CFL. I'm not a huge fan of the CFL. I obviously love the NFL game so much better. Playing defense now, the CFL set up so that receivers have a lot of fun in that league.
Right.
How do you defend that?
Yeah, it is set up, but I would say the NFL is set up for offense as well. Everybody wants to see points. Everybody wants to see high scores. The big money guys show up, and but the CFL game is actually a lot of fun. Even for a DB, if you think they're throwing the ball more, then that just means more opportunities for us.
Right.
And
Good
that's
point.
how you have to put your mindset too. So the biggest difference for me with the CFL, minus like the special teams and the kicking rules, was just the timing of the throws. The windows are a lot bigger in the CFL,
Different.
meaning that the ball's not getting there as fast, right? There's more space to put the ball, and the windows more ground you got to cover in zones and stuff like that. So that would be the biggest difference. But if the CFL paid NFL money, I'd think about considering playing
Really?
CFL style football. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a lot of fun.
And you didn't mind the
It's a
bigger
lot of
field,
fun.
like that big field to cover. That's a lot of ground to cover.
It is a lot of ground, and maybe if they made it 4 downs, it'd be a little better.
Yeah,
But
I
that
agree.
three and
I
out,
agree.
that 3 and out, that game moves so fast.
Yeah.
You can be down 25 points with 5 minutes left, and you're still in it.
Eric, what was that?
Still in it, right?
What was that culture? What was that culture shock like going from Los Angeles to Hamilton? Did your family come with you when you were in Hamilton, or did they not?
Not my rookie year, they did not. And then my second and third year, they were up in Hamilton with me, and they loved it. I mean, when we had our twins, I went from being Erik Harris to the father of the twins, the Harris twins, and they were like always on the jumbo screen during games.
Yeah.
Fans were bringing them tidbits to take home to them,
Crazy.
and birthday presents and stuff. So I mean, unbelievable.
Timbits, yeah. Tim Hortons. You found the Tim Hortons here.
Oh, definitely lived on Tim Hortons.
I saw your kids a few times online doing some boxing, and there's nothing more. And Jesse up top there has 5 boys. So I come from a big background of mixed martial arts. So I gave Jesse's kids all the mixed martial art gear you could possibly need to start your own gym, because I think parents should do. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
Is this not the best background for kids to get them into martial arts at that age? I mean, when
Absolutely.
I think it's so great when I see your boys doing the boxing together. You teach them how to do it correctly. I don't know, man. There's something about that gives them that esteem.
Right. And that's the biggest thing. You have to. We're not fighting. We're not
Correct.
being aggressors. It's a sport. At the end of the day, it's a sport, and there's a lot of discipline in it. And I was talking to my wife about getting our kids into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They're
Awesome.
one of their friends that live on our street. He does, and he competes. So I mean, just the respect. You can just tell almost when a younger kid has taken karate or he's been involved
Correct.
with
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu and has a teacher and stuff like that. They're just very well mannered. And they carry themselves really well. They're very composed in certain situations. So this kid is older than my boys, but just the way he handles them and stuff like that is pretty unique.
We find that a lot too when you and again, Canada, a lot of hockey here, and you're taught to really dislike the other team. You're really taught to yell at everything essentially. Where that mixed martial arts or martial arts in general really teaches respect and honor and valuing those above you and that kind of stuff, which we really love. We really promote a lot here. So, football's a little more about respect too. In hockey, we don't shake hands after a game. We don't kneel down at center field and pray after a game.
Nope.
There's not talking back and forth during a game unless you're telling the other guy off. So how is that? How is that culture in football? Because that's the culture of football. How is that going on? And I know you're a man of faith and stuff. So talk about that part and how that comes into your sports.
I think that's actually a really unique part of the sport, is because you're trying to rip a guy's face mask off for 60 minutes, right? And then at the end of it, you can put everything aside and say, hey, we're human beings and we have a platform to be more than just an athlete. And I think that image when guys are praying together or just a socializing after games, giving each other the respect and stuff like that. I think I think that's pretty important for especially the younger kids. Obviously, they look up to us to see that, and that it doesn't matter the outcome of the game. You still have respect, you still have good sportsmanship and stuff like that. So whether you tip your hat off to where the respect is needed.
Sure.
Is that in talk about your faith for a bit, because you're not shy about that either. I was actually a pastor for a number of years, believe it or not. And,
wow.
So now I do a podcast. But growing up, when was that? Was that something that started young with you, or was that something that came in later? And how has that affected your career?
Yeah, so I grew up in Baltimore until I was in about 5th grade, and then I moved up to Pennsylvania. So my mom's side of the family is pretty religious, like really religious. Some people think they're Amish, the way they dress, honestly. It's kind of crazy. People are like, "You're related to them?" I'm like, yeah, that's my aunt, aunt and uncle. But they had a big influence, and my grandfather had a big influence in my faith and stuff like that. And for me in my journey, it's been a huge factor of just keep going. And that's kind of why if you kind of see this necklace here, it's kind of my brand that I'm working on still, but it's slowly going, focusing on my career, but I definitely want to get something going. And it's the H from my signature, and also has 3 nails in it. Okay. Right. So the nails represent Christ, and the H represents Harris, and also having faith in Hebrews 11, which talks about faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance in what we cannot see. Right. So, and the biggest question for me is my journey is, how'd you keep your faith when people told you couldn't do it and you had to go to the CFL, you sat out a year, how'd you keep your faith? And it's just like, I couldn't see what the writing on the wall, but I just felt it, I just believed that I was meant to do something. And that's what I prayed about. It wasn't about, the money and the cars in that aspect. It was more like, can I change my community? Can I make a difference in other people's lives? Because, let's face it, we're celebrities and we're put on pedestals for what reason, I'm not sure, but it's the truth, and that's just reality. But, I have a platform to where I can make a difference in other people's lives, and that's a big part of my heart.
Do you notice that, Eric, when you're telling your story all the time and people are asking you about it? I get the kick out of it because they always call it the grind, right? And I always thought that's funny because people use that term. They're like, oh, Eric, and I don't really care about that much because I know your story and I know where you came from. But I see it all the time how people are scared to use the word faith or spirituality. Instead, they replace it with the word grind. Like I'm on the grind, but they didn't realize they didn't see you on your knees praying to God, saying, just guide me in the right direction. And the crazy part is you hear everybody say, well, it's the grind. Well, I struggle with that because I know when you're sitting in the potato chip factory or you're sitting in all these other things, you're not talking to the potato chips, and you're not talking about how hard you work the potato chip. You're talking to someone up there, right? And I know that.
Right. Absolutely. And it's funny you said grind, and a terminology I throw around sometimes is grind with faith. I mean, you can grind, but what are you grinding towards? You have to have a faith. Everybody has faith, whether it's religious or not. And then that's why some people might be, they might turn their head from this my symbol because of the three nails and stuff, but it's kind of subtle. But at the same time, is everybody has faith in something.
Correct.
It doesn't always have to be God, but obviously that's what my faith is in. And so everybody keeps saying grind. You got to keep grinding. I'm like, well, what are you grinding for? Yeah. You have to have faith in something to grind, right?
That's right.
So it's like you're not just grinding. You're grinding because you have faith in something. You have a goal. You have a vision and plan. So.
Yeah, you have a beautiful family. How old were you when you started having kids?
We were 23 when we had our twin boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So 30 with 4. I'm good.
That's it, no more.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a ripped up granddad.
How's your body treating you now? How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I mean, it's the off season, so it's time to heal. It's time to enjoy certain foods and certain drinks. So, but about mid-February, you usually get back into it.
So lots of people are asking us on the show and chiming in, and our phones are blowing up over on this end, and people want to know what's next because for us, it's hard because that's not our place to say what's next for you. It's your place to say what's next for you, right? And people want to talk about like, oh, is he playing for the Raiders next year or is he not? Is he this? I said, listen, man, that's not for me to say. That's for him to talk about on the show, right? So I told people, I'm like, I'm not his agent. I know who his agent is. She's fantastic, but I'm like, she's fantastic. She's a story in herself, right? So.
Absolutely.
Great story, and we'll post that up too because she's super impressive. And but it's funny, people are like chiming in like, "What's he doing next?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, that's for him to say, not for us." So,
right. First of all, my agent is amazing. The reason why I signed her wasn't because she tried to sell me on a contract or money or what I should be getting. She sold me on everything I should be having through NFL benefits and how I should set my family up because NFL has a lot of things that. They tell you about, but they don't really tell you about,
It's in the pamphlet. It's in the brochure.
Family. So they're like, hey, this is available, but we're not going to remind you,
Yeah.
So, and that's what we talked about for like the first hour. And I was like, wow, like she cares about my family. So shout out to Agent Nicole Lynn.
Yes.
But, I think it's funny. I kind of been letting it ride or whatever. But, early before I came back to Florida, I had posted a song on my Instagram, and everybody's like, "Oh,
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it."
I was like, that simply had to do with the house was completely empty because the movers just moved everything out, and we were moving out of our house. And we rented the house; we never even bought it. So everybody was like, "Oh, he sold his house." I'm like, I would never buy a house if I was only on a 1-year contract. Like that's silly,
That happens.
So I rented the house anyways, but I've been letting that go. But I mean, who knows what's next? Hopefully the Raiders reach out and they offer. But if not, I'm not stressing about it. It's already written. I'm enjoying my family and trying to be present in the off season, because I spend a lot of time away from my family during the season and just being committed to football. And really, I'm not really worried about it. Who knows where I'll be?
But that's
on
5
a team
years
somewhere.
But that's 5 years in the NFL now. So that means something now, right? And
Right.
what I notice is we all hear it all the time when people talk about the NFL. They're like, "Oh, we need this player, we need this player." But the number one thing that everybody says, what wins Super Bowls is character. You hear that over and over. Character, character, character. You weren't a captain for the Raiders for any other reason, but listen, you don't have to say it. I'm telling you, Eric, because you know what I mean. Like, why do people become captain? You're not. That's not from the fans. That's from your fellow. That's from your fellow peers. When your fellow peers are telling you, "Hey, bro, we believe in you, man. We know." Listen, remember the Thursday night game? People said that's a curse. What happened to him on that Thursday night game? I go, "What are you talking about? A curse?" They said, "Yeah, but he can't duplicate that every game." I go,
Right.
But you shouldn't expect him to duplicate it every game. But watch the interview. Watch the interview. At least 10 times you were thanking your teammates. You were thanking your teammates because, once again, this is a team sport. And that character value, you see it in NHL hockey, you see it in NFL football, that you need those character guys that'll play every night, but not just play every night, but the ones that'll pick up the other players when they're on the ground, in between plays. That's the difference.
Right. Yeah, it is. And when you can make the picture bigger than yourself, it's easy to bring it. It's easy to bring it 100% every day. When it's just about you, you can check in and out whenever you want because it's just about you, So I've had a long journey, and I'm a detail guy, and I'm kind of by the book type of guy when it comes to the field. Hey, tell me my job, I'm gonna do my job to the best of my ability, right?
Correct.
But football is a funny sport because
it is.
You can't just how often do you drive past a field and see 11 guys playing 11 on 11? You can pick up a basketball, work on your dribbling, shooting fouls, shots all day, or work on your swing in the batting cage or something. And I'm not knocking those sports, but it's the ultimate team sport. Like 11 guys have to be on the page, and if you're in Canada, 12 guys have to be on the page at the same time, right? So if one guy doesn't do his job, like usually in the NFL, it's going to be exposed.
Correct. Yes.
So,
so were you calling plays in that time?
In what time?
In your time with the Raiders, were you calling plays, or was someone else radioing that in?
Oh yeah, no, the defensive coordinator. He was calling it into usually our Mike linebackers. Usually your linebackers wear the green dot to who they communicate because they're in the middle of the defense.
Right.
They 2019, they were talking about possibly me wearing the green dot, but then it was like, oh, we were about to play Kansas City, and like, okay, well, you're gonna chase Tyreek Hill down the field, maybe an incomplete pass or something, and you have to run all the way back and give everybody the call again. I'm like, that's a lot of pressure. Let's maybe not do that, right?
Yeah, he gets down there pretty quick.
Exactly. So,
sorry, I really want to ask this. Who is the best talent that you play against?
Play against? I mean, we play them twice a year, and the Chiefs have a lot of talent. You know, they have a lot of good players, but it's such a different style of game when you play those guys. It's like it's a track meet. It really is a track meet, and it's a lot of kind of like a lot of backyard football. You know, you get your first and second down, and third down they usually run their plays. But Mahomes is back there; he starts scrambling, and then you know Kelsey's his guy in plaster situations. Their chemistry, like, not knocking Kelsey as far as just being a tight end, but that's the best thing he does is plaster situations.
Yeah.
Well,
so
why not? It works.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a huge.
He mirrors Patrick Mahomes so well. Like, they just have that chemistry. It's like he's looking for that bomb first for Tyreek, because as soon as he's scrambling, Tyreek takes off, and then it's Kelsey next.
So how does it feel to tackle that big man?
I mean, there's a lot of big guys in the NFL. So you're looking around like, all right, guys, where y'all at?
I'm a huge Seahawks fan, so I mean, I'd love to have you on my team. You and Jamal could go do some damage, but so you've moved around in a lot of your career. You're even halfback for a certain time. Like, is that just because of athleticism? Like, this guy can run, so let's put the ball in his hand to see what he can do.
But are you in between on weight too, Eric? Like, your size, right?
Yeah, you're a big man.
Yeah, I'm more like I'm pretty sure if you still look at the roster, they still take like my CFL weight. So my first year in the CFL, I was a lot heavier because I thought I was going to play linebacker. Yeah. They said, "Hey, you're going to play linebacker when you come up here." I'm like, "Okay, I've never played linebacker before, well, since middle school, so let me beef up a little bit." Yeah. But then I got there and they're like, "Oh, you're going to play free safety." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, but I was always kind of a tweener, right? So I was like, they said I was like 6'3", love it, 226, love it, but I'm really like 6'2", 215. So
the truth comes out today, everybody. The truth comes out. Yeah.
They make me like the Madden created player. Make me a little big and fast.
That's right.
Do you play that?
So no, it's just versatility, and that's what I think has gotten me to this point. Is I'm big enough to where, like, when you're on special teams, certain positions get labeled like DBs. They can only play like certain positions on special teams, but I can play kind of like a linebacker position or a safety position. I'm fast enough and I'm strong enough to do either or. So that's really helped me out. And then in Canada, I wasn't a starter quite at the time. And then they were like, "Hey, you want to play both sides of the ball?" I'm like, "Wow, absolutely. Of course I will." Yeah. So that's when I had that game against Calgary at McMaster University. And I had that touchdown on offense because I wasn't starting at the time.
Yeah, you played offense then. And so was that a reception or were you running that in?
That was a reception, yeah. Oh, yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you've been all over the phone. You mentioned Madden.
Leading receiver at halftime, 55 yards, touchdown. I was one and done. That was my only offensive snap all year.
Oh, well, that's a good one to have.
It wasn't necessary for more, right? I
did what I needed to do. Yeah. So you just mentioned Madden, and I always wonder this too. Do you get Madden to play yourself in a game?
I do not like sport games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't like sport games. I love watching sports, but I don't like playing sport games. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm bad at it, or just because I'm just like, it's not as realistic to me as it is like playing it.
I totally agree. Right?
I think it's cool when people send me videos. Hey, you just won the game for me and stuff like that. I think that's pretty cool. And
I do too.
I mean, we kind of get paid for being on it, so that's awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. They ain't going broke any day soon.
No. Decent franchise there.
Yeah.
So, did you play any other sports? Like, because a lot of football players that play basketball or baseball, or whatever. Was there another sport that you were thinking I could do this, or was it always football?
Yeah, no, I played basketball in high school, but I mean, I kind of played football on the basketball court, if you want to call it. But I was actually a bigger track star. If anything, I kind of stood out in track more, and I got more scholarship offers for track because, it's a team sport, but it's kind of individualized
Right.
too, So I was a jumper, and I had a lot of offers for a long jump. I won districts, got second in state, third in state, and I got second in district as well. So bigger track guy, smaller school for football. We had one winning season my 4 years there.
Wow.
So smaller area for football.
What is that, California? What's the California, Pennsylvania thing? It's very confusing. It says,
yeah,
you're in
California
Pennsylvania.
University of Pennsylvania. So it's a little town of
That's right.
California near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Near Pittsburgh. That's right.
Oh, okay. Okay, that is.
Yeah, so I always tell
It's
people,
very-
where'd you play ball at? Everybody always said, oh, you're in the NFL? Where'd you play your ball at? I'm like, not Alabama or Auburn or anything. Like, Cal PA, and they're like, but some people know Cal Poly out in Cali, and I'm like,
They do.
No, not Cal Poly, no, Cal PA, California University of Pennsylvania.
That's right. Wait, Eric, it's funny. You know how many guys from your alma mater play in the NFL? You won't know.
We had 3. The start of training camp, we had 3 on our team alone.
Wow, because there was 12,
Yeah.
there was 12 guys. 12 guys have made it into the NFL and played in the NFL from your college. So Division II, and I don't know. There's something in the water over there. I'm not sure what it is, but that's crazy.
These scouts are really good. They'll find talent.
They will.
It's easy to find a Alabama guy, LSU guy, because they're always on prime time.
That's right.
Big names. They're big recruits coming out, but the really good scouts, they'll go find the diamond in the rough. So we had 23 scouts, not including like CFL and arena teams at my pro day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and I still didn't get a workout. Golly.
So when you don't get drafted, you're sitting there going, I'm pretty good. Like I'm rated pretty good in college ball, even if I'm in Division II school, and you didn't get drafted. So what do you think in that day? Okay, I didn't get drafted. Now I got to go get a job. Or no, I didn't get drafted, and now I'm going to go play in the CFL. I'm sure the CFL wasn't your first option in your mind, because being from where you're from, that's not
Didn't
not
know
your
Hamilton
first
was a place yet.
Yeah, didn't even know what it was.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're sitting there going, I didn't get drafted, do you immediately get super sour? Like between us on the show, no sourness.
No, I didn't think I was gonna get drafted. I hate to say, just because I was a small school guy. I didn't have a lot of hype coming out of my school. There was other prospects coming out of my school that were kind of bigger names than I was. Getting drafted is a special thing, and I don't care what pick it is. It's special to hear your name called. So, congrats to everybody, and congrats to these guys that are going to get drafted this season. But the biggest thing for me is, I had an agent who I was pretty close with or whatever, but they weren't like big name, right? And then I reached out to this other agent who has some bigger clients, and I'm like, oh, he has bigger clients, so he's gonna give me a shot. Well, that wasn't the case. Like I was just a small fish in the big pond, and what happened was once teams didn't call, he kind of was like, you might want to find a different career. And like that fast, he just gave up on me, and I was just like,
not cool.
Okay, so I remember just running the high school field, and I was running this hill behind my high school, and I just kept running. And I just like wore myself out, and I remember just like getting on my knees and just praying and crying, like just for it to work out and just show me the way. Sorry, my son walked in and distracted me.
Time out on the field.
Right. Commercial timeout. They always want to use them in the first and second quarter, not in the fourth quarter. Right. So so I went that route or whatever, but not even. I just thought at least I'd be a camp body.
Yeah.
Just hey, bring me in. So if other people are hurt or we don't want to run our start, that's fine. Like I always just felt like get me there and I'll take care of the rest. So, but none of that ever happened, and it is what it is. So it's a great story to tell now. At the time, it wasn't very fun.
No, but the jump from Hamilton to the Saints. How did that happen? That jump. Hey, come in. Come in. He'll be famous. We'll get it. He's going to be the fighter. This is the fighter. We got to get the fighters in. What's up, fighter?
Hey, man, how's it going?
All right, go. Yeah, out of here now. Yeah. So Delvin Bro, who now is still with Hamilton.
Yep.
He was with the Saints, and so I was still in my last year of my deal with Hamilton, and he went down there and played really well, made a name for himself. So obviously his word carried some weight, and he was like, "Hey, you guys got to check out my guy Erik Harris. Like he can do it all, like special team, safety, like linebacker. He can do it all." So and yeah. So all season came around, they finally like, "Well, tell him we're gonna bring him in." So that was my only NFL workout ever. So.
Wow.
When you work out for an NFL team coming off the CFL, teams have to get permission to work you out. The NFL teams do because technically you're still under contract.
Right.
So Baltimore called to work me out early on, but they never followed through with it. They never worked me out. But so the Saints were the only team that worked me out.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you
crazy.
made it there. Okay, we have to ask this: Super Bowl predictions.
He's not. He can't pick KC. He can't.
I know it.
He cannot.
Yeah.
I knew I was gearing this one up because I know Mark is
that's so dirty. That's so dirty.
I'm not betting against the GOAT.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I like
Yeah.
it too. See, Mark is
Yeah.
torn on this one because he's not a huge Tom Brady fan either. But he can't because he can't go for the KC because why?
Well, listen, we can say it on the show today. Eric doesn't have to agree, but I think Tom Brady is the GOAT.
He is the
But
guy.
I still listen. I still struggle with Antonio Brown, what he did to the Raiders. So I struggle with that. I'm not going to talk bad about Antonio Brown. I just say I struggle with what Antonio Brown did. Okay, so the whole my feet, the whole thing, and then all of a sudden he was cured when he went to see
I'm just
Tom
mad he
Brady.
didn't come to the Seahawks, but whatever.
Yeah, no, well,
No comment. I'm just gonna sit here like a clown.
that's right. That's right. Yeah. That's good.
Do you watch? Are you gonna watch it?
The Super Bowl, absolutely.
Is that something that you always like? How many players do that? Like, do you actually watch when you're not playing?
Yeah, I watch ball. Some guys probably don't, but I still watch ball.
Yeah.
I love watching ball.
Do you watch it, Eric, in the fact as a fan, or do you watch it as you're watching the other safeties? You're watching.
Yeah, that's the only problem. I can't watch it as a fan. So I'm like,
Correct.
oh, they're in this formation. Oh, they're Tennessee, especially Kansas City's playing, and actually Tampa Bay. We play both of those teams. So, I'm gonna be trying to call out plays and stuff while I'm watching and whatever. So,
Yeah.
I'll be telling people like, yeah, they ran this against us, and this is coming. So they're like, how'd you know that? I'm like, just film.
That's what everyone wondered when Tony Romo became an announcer. Everyone's like, "How's this guy?"
I'm Tony Romo
Yeah.
and under my roof.
Do you ever think about doing something like that one day either?
And people always ask me that. I'm like, I'm not made for the camera. I don't know if I could do that.
Ah,
What do you mean? What do you mean not made? What it was? What?
I don't like that. I don't like that spotlight. The only time I like a spotlight is when I'm playing football.
I got
Yeah.
I don't really like the
Yeah.
press. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm talking to kids or something like that, but as
Yeah.
far as being in that spotlight, oh, here comes the other twin.
He wants to be on too.
We can't tell the difference.
Smile. He's kind of like our hockey player. Smile.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there he is.
Oh, yeah,
This is
he's
some
got-
chiclets.
He's got the Bobby Clark teeth. He's got the Bobby Clark teeth. Eh?
All right.
Okay,
That'd be-
Eric, before we let you go, tell us about this brand once more and tell us how we can find it because I think it's a cool brand. I support brands like that. I'm wearing a hat this is from a cool guy in the
Awesome.
States as well. Tell us, about that because I got to get one for one. And then how do you find all that stuff?
Well, you can't find it because it's not out there yet.
Ah.
It's in the works with everything. I'm working on a hoodie as well right now. So instead of just dropping one thing here and there, I kind of just wanted to drop, open up a website and everything. So it's in the works. Have a lot of people working on it. A lot of really good friends working on it as well for me. So I'm excited about it. Like I said, I think it's something different as far as an athlete, coming out and sharing his faith and stuff like that. And I think the symbol and the logo is very unique.
Yeah,
it means
cool.
a lot to me, obviously. So I hope it just encourages people. That's my biggest goal is I want to touch lives off the football field. And, I want to open a mentorship program, after football, like a sports training program. Excuse me. And No, teach kids what they don't teach them in school. Everything's so set up for testing and how good you can score on tests, and it's like one subject, and 2 weeks later you're learning something else. So it's just like you're going through school and you're just memorizing things. You're not learning.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So I want to teach kids like stuff like that.
Please let us know. Please let us know when it does come out. Though.
Absolutely. I'll be one of your first customers.
Yeah, but as the show's growing, and growing, we'll share it on all our stuff. It would be our pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you do any preaching or anything? Do you speaking anywhere already?
Not preaching. Preaching to my kids. That's about it. Jesus talks all the time. No, I share my faith when I can, and but no, I don't preach. I talk to kids as much as I can. Mm-hmm. Obviously with COVID it's kind of hard. I love being in person and talking to a group of kids and stuff. I'd rather talk to, no offense to you guys, I'd rather talk to kids any day than adults, right? Just because they're so impressionable. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, guys, this has been Erik Harris. And again, this is what I really love about the guests that we're trying to find is people with the story, people with the character that can actually inspire, hey, not just a few people around, but a generation. And it's pretty awesome that you have the platform that you do and that you use it the way you are. And I commend you for that. And hey, Mark and I are behind you when you launch that brand too, because we're all in with you on that. And we really believe that it's something that this whole world needs, for crying out loud.
And also, Erik, when we tell you we're behind you, we want you to understand that that's just not chatter or talk or whatever. We're too old for that. We've been around too long. So when we do shoot it out there, it's the real thing. So we will exercise our social media for the positive side, and for when you do launch your stuff, like I said, it'll be our pleasure. But we know whatever you do, like with your character. Once again, there's that word again, character. This is what this show's all about. Our guests are all like that. You can watch all the way through. Specifically hand-picked guests that have this character and story that people can be inspired by. No,
I appreciate it, guys. It means a lot, seriously. And free hat and hoodie for you too.
No.
Mark,
I don't take free swag, man. I'd rather pay for it.
No, can't do it. Can't do it. You promote it. That's you paying. You promote it. That's paying.
Well, Erik, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the off season. Enjoy the Super Bowl this week. And we'll be all the fans, all the viewers tonight be watching for when you sign that next big deal, and we hope it's soon.
That's right.
I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the Super Bowl, but I'll watch it.
Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Get on, Erik. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Raider Nation, don't cry. Don't cry right now. Well, let's hope.
Hey,
the
man,
Raiders have.
Hey, I gained some respect for your Raiders.
Yeah, but let's talk about this now. Let's hope that the Raiders have some sense.
Yes.
Because
yes,
we talk about this all the time. I don't care what team it is. Those character players are so important. You notice what happens all the time in the NHL when it comes to the trade deadline right before the playoffs all the time. What happens? Character guy gets traded to St. Louis, and you go, what the hell did St. Louis do that for?
Yeah.
And then you get another guy, and you got all these character guys all of a sudden, and a team like St. Louis goes and wins the Stanley Cup.
It was O'Reilly, wasn't it? Wasn't it O'Reilly?
Yeah.
Remember Sean Avery?
Yes.
Shouting out, he's like, I love this guy. And,
yes.
And O'Reilly, he was the character guy that they threw it on his back, and he's like, let's roll. And they did it. And I mean, you can see Erik, you don't get that captaincy in the NFL without being the guy.
Because the players on your team have to vote you in. This is not a fan thing.
No.
This is a thing. Your other players on your team have the respect for you. There's literally 5 or 6 guys that are the captain of a team of 54 people or 55 people, and you're one of those captains. That's why Erik Harris was on our show today, because we're not going to put people on our show. And no offense to the greatest athletes, all the athletes in the world out there, But
if you don't
if
have
you're-
a bone of charisma.
correct. Like what I'm talking about though is you have to have some iota
Yeah.
of we skate really hard, we play really fast,
And I get the press conference interview
I do
after
too.
the fact, but
not here, not here.
yeah, but definitely not here. This is not the format
No.
for that. And there are guys out there still though that will. Jerome McGinley to me was again my favorite team, and him and Theo are my favorite players. But Jerome McGinley to me was the best interview in sports because the guy was always honest. He always smiled. Even when he took it on the chin, he would be honest about what was going on. And the guy, everybody says, every Oilers fan that absolutely despises the Flames says, we're cool with McGinley because that guy has the character to back everything up. And everyone remembers that. I think that's what really gets people today. And that's what, when you find a guy like Erik, that's what you get fans for. Like, in all honesty, the free safeties of the NFL aren't the big names. Like, they're not, Jamal Adams, and then the list gets short. And then you're not really thinking about it. But when you see what those guys have and what the character that they have, that's when you're like, oh man, I'm a fan of this guy. And no matter wherever Erik goes next, I'm going to be a fan of him. No matter, even if he goes to the Packers.
Yep. Or the Cowboys.
Or the Cowboys. Oh boy, you'll be torn then. All right, so Super Bowl. Actually, first let's do this. We gotta sell this out again. New sponsor, Boston Pizza. Check out the Windermere and Hampton Market locations. It's on the screen right now. You can see that. It's at the top, and I put a little thing on the bottom there right now.
Mrs. P swears by it. Mrs. P
You
swears
got to
by
remember something now, folks. That people are like, whoa, Boston Pizza is a big thing. Well, there's local people that own these restaurants, and we have to support them too. And here's the thing as well, is that we know we can't sit in places right now, which is unfortunate. Hopefully that's changing very soon, actually. But right now you can order takeout, you can order online, you can do all that stuff and get it to your house, and there you go.
Hampton in the Windermere locations.
Yes,
Yeah.
and make sure you give those guys a call. And hopefully we'll be watching the game there soon. Hopefully we'll be doing a live show from one of those locations soon as well.
Correct.
Super Bowl. Oh man, I love the Super Bowl. I love the Super Bowl. I love it. Now,
Bucks are gonna win. Bucks are gonna win.
The Bucks are gonna win, Mark. Is
Listen
that what
to
you're
me right
saying?
now. Bet it. He's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
But pay attention, everybody.
Okay.
On the Me and Jesse podcast,
Okay.
the GOAT wins. Rides off in the sunset. He won't ride off in the sunset though. He's gonna play next year for sure. You don't play at this level and then say,
No.
I'm done.
If he
I'm
wins,
done.
he's done.
You think so?
I think if he wins in the
No.
trophy acceptance, peace out.
No, he can't. He can't
He
do
has
it.
to.
He's play-
You go out on top. You go out at the pinnacle. You go out with saying, "Hey," everyone accusing him all the time of it being of Belichick, and it's all them, and it's New England, and I'm going to go to another team, and in the first year I'm with another team, I win it all.
And that's
See
a
you
wrap.
guys. That's a wrap. That would be awesome.
It would be awesome. in theory.
I am going for the Bucks. I will be cheering for the Bucks. I have a very slow expectation that they can win.
Antonio Brown's not playing, I heard. So
Oh, really?
if
I
he's
thought
not-
he was. He was. Last report I heard he was.
Well, I'll keep everybody posted on that.
Be
That's
sure
my
you follow
only
that.
little.
But yeah,
That's my only little asterisk next to this whole thing with him playing. But all in all, you know what's funny? Don't be. I see Edelman already chiming on Instagram because for next year. I see Edelman already for next year
to come to Tampa.
I'll come to Tampa.
Oh yeah.
And
Let's bring the gang back together.
yeah.
I mean,
And
hey,
you
Bruce Arians, you gotta respect this guy, Bruce Arians, because because when he was in AZ, he had a team that could do it, and they didn't perform. They didn't perform. I think he might have made some mistakes, sure, but he's a great coach, and they didn't live up to what they had to, so he got a second chance, and this is awesome that he's in the show, and I think he's I think he's a tremendous coach, and definitely, I mean, him and Andy Reid, besides looking almost identical, they They're two of the greatest coaches in the NFL, so it's cool to see that together as well. Because other than any other sport, more than any other sport, the NFL is a coach-driven league. You have to have the coach. That's why the Raiders are where the Raiders are, because the coach. And I mean, hey, I hope Eric didn't listen to that part, but it's true. I really said that Gruden wasn't the guy to get the job done there, and I don't think he is. I think they need someone else. And the coaching shifts going around the league right now, I think that there's going to be some big shakeups coming here soon. But
There is, yeah.
But I absolutely love the Super Bowl. It's like a national holiday here in the house.
I agree.
It is my favorite sporting event by far.
And if the Me and Jesse podcast was allowed to have people, we would have had the biggest Super Bowl party basically where we live right now, the Me and Jesse podcast Super Bowl party. But because of COVID, we cannot. So hopefully next year, you'll all be joining us for the Super Bowl in 2022.
Yes, 2022. But that'd be whatever year that is, if we can make it that far.
That's right.
Now, I want to mention something here on the Me and Jesse podcast. Let me be the first to say it.
Yes.
How ugly are those third jerseys of the Oilers?
Oh,
that is
atrocious.
the most. It's like someone gouged my eyeballs out of my head and then poured bleach into the ocular cavities. That feeling is what I get when I look at the Oilers' third jersey. It is atrocious.
I don't know what they're thinking.
I can't believe that got a green light to be made. It's like when you in a video game when you like your 4-year-old kid makes their own team and they put all the colors they can together to make a jersey. That's what happened. They hired a 4-year-old kid to make their team jersey.
And you say, Jimmy, that looks nice, Jimmy.
Nice, Jimmy. Good job, Jimmy. Hey, we'll make it the Oilers jersey this year. Why not?
We don't want to hurt Jimmy's feelings, but we say, Jimmy, that's really nice. Yes, Jimmy, that's nice.
It is horrible.
And you turn to the side and go, oh my God, did you see what Jimmy just made?
I think Jimmy's colorblind.
He could be. And then that's what happens.
And then the Oilers have their third jersey. It is bad. Google it right now, everybody. It is bad. I can't even believe that. Like when you put that on, it's like the Grizzlies. Remember the Grizzlies with that weird thing around them? That was so bad. Like, I mean, it was like, what are they thinking? Like, you don't have to be that creative. Like, you're thinking you're creative. You're not. The Washington Capitals third jersey is beautiful. Nice navy blue with a W and some stars. Perfect. Leave it.
Yep.
I just don't get it. I don't get what they think sells today. I just don't get it. But I guess, hey,
the Jersey police, man, we gotta get the Jersey police out there.
I should make it a post. I'm gonna make a post. I'm gonna rank every jersey.
That's a foul ball.
Because it is trash. It is trash. Yeah. Now, and it's not because I mean, oh geez, I can't.
We're not gonna talk about the goal.
The McDavid goal.
We gotta talk about it.
Well, hey, here's the problem.
There's no problem.
There's a problem.
There's
Here's a problem. Every single minor league hockey coach right now today is like, oh God.
Oh yeah. Because every kid's gonna try it now, right?
Why does he always go coast to coast? Because he can. Okay, it's Connor McJesus. He can.
Yeah. Yes.
But you,
cannot.
Jimmy, that designed that crappy jersey, you can't. You can't do that. Pass the puck. Pass the puck is faster. Yeah. So there is a problem with that because then you get a whole slew of kids that want to be McDavid, and I'm not going to pass the puck anymore. And we had that problem in Team Canada for years when we sucked. We couldn't beat anybody because the whole Team Canada wanted to be the guy that carried the puck all over the ice.
That's right. And
end to end and try to do it all themselves. And it doesn't work that way. That's not how this game's played. Connor McDavid is on a different level. I admittedly say that. He is on a different planet. He's in a different atmosphere. He doesn't breathe oxygen. He breathes Red Bull or something. And,
I don't know what it is either.
And so he can skate coast to coast and go faster than everybody else. Why not? Why you don't try to like haul him down if you're a Maple Leafs defenseman in that position or like get a stick on at least? Like, I don't understand why you don't try to stop him. But hey, whatever.
Well, the defense are dead still.
I don't get it.
He's skating by you 100 miles an hour, and they're just dead still. And you know what? Like, if I got punked like that on a daily basis, I would eat the fine. I would put my stick out. Yeah. I don't care what it is.
Right in between the legs.
I will not let him clown me like that every time he plays.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why they let him do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to get it.
I don't know.
But okay. Here's the thing, though. Again, yes, McDavid's going to have the most highlights out of any player ever. I really think in history. I think he will.
Gretzky. Yeah.
More than Gretzky, because Gretzky was a beautiful passer, but that didn't play well, and it was a different time too. But that being said, McDavid does do so many things by himself that are spectacular. The problem is that you got to coach now. You got to coach in a way that you tell your kids playing that they can't do that, and that's the thing. So that's part of the issue. But again, I mean, spectacular. Of course, you can't deny it. Even if you're a Flames fan and you hate the Oilers, you have to deny the guy's unreal. And I'm so mad because, as I've said before 100 times, I was a huge McDavid fan. I've watched this kid since he was 13 years old. Yeah, I said this kid is going to be unbelievable back then. And you
said it back in the day.
I was pumped on this guy. 5 years before he got drafted, I was like, this guy. In 5 years, this kid, whoever gets this guy. And I was like, I will buy any team jersey that this guy has. Except. And wouldn't you know it? That's how it is. That's my luck, Mark. The one guy, the next Gretzky of the generation. I'm like, the one guy I don't want to go back to that team. And there it is.
Oh, I still think Gretzky's the greatest, but this
I do
kid,
too. But again, since then.
But this kid's flash is the next level.
Oh,
this kid's flash is the next
ridiculous.
level. Yeah, Gretzky's the greatest of all time, but this kid's flash is another level. This more than Gretzky. The flash.
I think when you can combine this guy with stuff like you can combine Pavel Bure.
Yes.
You could put some Ovechkin because this guy can rip it too.
Yeah.
You could put Alexander McGillney's passing in there. You could put who's stick handling? Who was that? Actually, Alex Hemsey was an amazing stick handler. Yes. People don't really know that, but the crazy part about all those things is that he can do them all at top speed. Yeah. Most people have to pull one of those things off to go that fast. Yeah. This guy can do the finesse moves at full speed, which is ridiculous. And it is, how does someone get that good? I don't know. I don't know. It's just one of those things that the stars aligned on that day, and boom, Connor McDavid was born. And still Edmonton hasn't made it out of the second round.
Yeah.
That's going to be a clip after that we play.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I'm so excited about the Super Bowl. I love the Super Bowl. I can't wait.
Well, listen, if the GOAT does it though, the GOAT will
Oh
not.
my gosh.
Everybody listening to the show, he will not go gracefully into the night. He doesn't have that in his.
I think it would be awesome.
He doesn't have that in his DNA, unfortunately. Because if he did, he would win and go gently into the night. But he will not.
Loudly into the night.
Did you see his son the other day? His son now is no longer a little kid.
No.
His son now is a little bit of a tall kid. Yeah. So it's like, hey, how long you want to keep this going for? But as long as he keeps winning and as long as he keeps playing at this level, very hard to retire because he's not a mobile quarterback. He's never been a mobile quarterback.
Never.
So as long as he can stay in the pocket and has a great offensive line, sky's the limit. He could do this for another year, 2, 3 years because of that, because he's not mobile. Now, on the other side, you see what happened to Mahomes 3 games ago when he got the concussion. Because when you are mobile like him, you're playing with fire because he does it all the time.
Tell it to Cam Newton.
Well, look at Mahomes too, though. Yeah. He does it all the time. He does the stutter step like he's going to go out of bounds, and then he fakes like he's going to go out. That should be against the rules in the NFL. Yeah. They're protecting these quarterbacks almost to the point of where it's embarrassing. Yeah. But Mahomes is the worst one in NFL that does it. He does the stutter step like he's going to go out of bounds, but then he kind of fakes it and he picks up another 4 yards, and then he goes out of bounds. If you make that gesture to go out of bounds, that's exactly where you should be.
Yeah, because they're laying off on him at that point.
Everybody's laying off on Mahomes. Everybody's laying off of 3/4 of the quarterbacks in the NFL. And you're looking at it going, listen, man, how can we make this fair for everybody moving forward? Because when the linebacker's coming in at 90 miles an hour, and then he puts the brakes on it, and then he does the stutter step, and then he looks like he's going to go out of bounds, and he keeps going down the line. I'm like, not cool. This is something that has to be addressed in the NFL moving forward, because this is an ongoing thing that he keeps doing. You'll watch, he'll do it during the Super Bowl too. And then he kind of makes a kind of joke about it when he looks at his players, and he kind of makes it like, hey, did you see what I just did? And it's like, hey, why don't we call it what it is? It's a form of cheating, because you're doing this little stutter step. Everybody stops, and then you pick up another 4 yards or 5 yards.
Next week on the show, on our Super Bowl after party on Monday, we have our first MLS player. I'm excited about this.
People want us to get soccer, and we said, listen, we'll get Ronaldo one day, and we'll get Messi once we get a translator. And I said, Tassé Ricketts, who plays for the Vancouver Whitecaps, on the show next week. People wanted us to get soccer. And I said, me and you both love soccer.
Yep.
So, being from the countries we're from and our parents and yada, 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 I said, I'm so excited to have Toss on the show. And he is beyond ecstatic to be on the show. So we're going to have him on next week. We're going to talk Super Bowl. We're going to talk soccer. We're going to talk MLS. We're going to talk about all the stuff he played in Europe.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be.
I'm excited. I Vancouver Whitecaps are my team. They used to be called the 86ers back in the day, and then when the MLS formed, I like Toronto FC and stuff too. But the Whitecaps were in Vancouver, and that's where I'm from. So that was they've been around for years. They were just called something else.
Listen, people compare the MLS is a very high level soccer.
It's growing a lot, and I'm actually a little bit surprised that soccer hasn't grown more.
Even more
than it has, because I thought by now America would have been like, okay, we're going to win this World Cup thing. I thought they would have already been doing it by now, but we're a little behind schedule on that one. But I mean, hey,
because the United States is never going to win the World Cup.
How about the boy in Germany from Edmonton?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some serious Canadian soccer players or footballers, if you want to call it that, out there right now, and we're very excited to have Toussaint on
next week.
Next week, after the Super Bowl. We'll talk Super Bowl, talk all that other stuff too. Very exciting.
He's going to be awesome. He's out of Vancouver now. He's originally from Edmonton, Alberta, and now he lives in Vancouver, but he lived all over the world. He's been everywhere, and he's a veteran player in the MLS, played also for Toronto.
Yes,
played for and currently playing for Vancouver.
Yes. So that's awesome as well. You've been watching Aussie Open?
I will.
Okay.
I will.
There's fans there.
Maybe
people are freaking out. People are freaking out here, but they're like, yeah, whatever.
But there's no COVID in Australia, apparently.
No, it's too hot.
Yeah, too hot
there.
Don't forget, everybody, you want to find Jesse Martineau on all social media. Super easy, at Jesse Martineau. It's like the French version.
Martineau. Your wife can say it better.
She can. You know what Minot says too? My wife says the best lasagna in the world.
She loves Boston pizza lasagna from Windermere or Hampton Market.
She says that the best lasagna in the world is from Boston Pizza, Hamptons, or Windermere. She swears by it. And when she heard that Boston Pizza was going to be one of our big advertisers.
Where's my lasagna?
She says, where is my lasagna? So I thought that was pretty funny. But Terry Olson, locally owned. Okay, everybody. Now, don't message me because you know I'm a big support local guy. So don't message me going, what's going on, Mark? You're a big support local guy. This is local. Terry is local Edmonton guy, straight up, as local as you can get. Local entrepreneur, making good, and owns 2 Boston pizzas. That's a big deal.
I was drinking tonight. I was drinking Granville Island West Coast IPA. That's out of Vancouver. This was quite good. Oh, and then I also have a can of Kingsville, which we had Marty Turcowa on the show. If you head over to YouTube, that thing's got over 70,000 views. Thanks for watching. But
72,000.
Kingsville Brewery, he mentioned that, and I'm drinking his India Pale Ale as well, and it's also very good. So check those things out as well. All right.
Correct.
Well,
yes.
Jeez, man, we have some good guests on this show.
Like that.
We have some great guests.
What else we got? We got Frank Trigg coming up. We got Theo Fleury.
Boy.
We got Theo Fleury
Very
coming
excited.
up. We got all kinds
Toss
of
coming up next week.
We have so many great guests coming up. March is looking very promising. We have a mixture of MMA, NFL, and NHL.
Sports.
All sports, yeah.
All
And,
sports.
and listen, eventually, guys, I know people are messaging me too, and I'm getting a lot of crap for it. But yes, my father will be on the show one day. So people are like, I can't.
When's he gonna be on?
People are messing with me all the time. They're messaging me going, I can't believe you're sweating your dad to be on the Me and Jesse podcast. And I said, my dad's gonna be on. I said, I gotta save my dad because my dad's storytelling is incredible.
Yes.
So I got to save my dad.
We got to set him up with the proper set. We got to get the lighting in there. We got to get.
I'm gonna have to send someone.
Yeah, we're gonna have to send someone to do that for him.
I got to get someone to his home. I got to get someone to set it up correctly. I can't let him wing it on his own. Listen. He's 86 and he's very together. He's very intelligent. But I need someone to go over there and like set him up correctly. So when we do go live, Dad, it'll be on, and my dad will be on, and he might be on in like April, maybe March. I'll try to figure this out. But people are asking, and my father, of course, first official in the NHL, in the Hockey Hall of Fame, and
He's a big deal.
He's a big deal. Not just a big deal. He knows hockey better than 99.9% of the people out there. He knows hockey. So I used to think that was funny. Why people didn't make him a scout? Or my dad can go into any arena in the world and tell you who can play in the NHL and who can't play in the NHL.
It reminds me, we have a great giveaway on our Facebook page right now. Brett Hull, signed, autographed, framed jersey worth over $1,400. You can enter in to win that on the Facebook page. Head over there, facebook.com/me and Jesse. It's been up on the screen the whole time. And join that contest. Well,
and we'll probably get Brett on the show.
We'll probably get Brett
on the show because great storytellers. That's what we're looking for.
That's what we want.
And hey, listen, people keep telling us about the George LaRock show too. They were like, "Oh my God, he was incredible." And he was a great guest. And then last week we had Boss Rutan on, who just lit up the place.
Yep.
I mean, we've been very fortunate to have just primo guests on this show.
Well, everybody, that's Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. Thanks so much to our guest, Erik Harris. Good luck to you in your future, and be sure to check out his brand when it comes. You don't have to go any further than the Me and Jesse podcast. Be sure to put that out there for sure.
We will.
About that awesome brand that he's putting out. And until next week, let's see if the GOAT can be the GOAT of all time, or if he comes back for another throw. We'll see.
Yeah.
See you next time, everybody. This has been the most exciting 60 minutes you spent on the internet this week. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. Good night.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/me and Jesse.